Hey everybody, welcome to Creators of the First, powered by Radish. I am Slappy White. We're diving into Wonders of the First, a turn-based deck builder packed with strategy, stunning art, unforgettable TCG game. I'm happy to be here with the Wonders top creators. We've got Capricorn. Hopefully we're going to have Carolina Girl in a little bit from Wonders Workshop. We also have American Texan Plays, and then we have Ben from Be a Hero Gaming. Tonight we're going to focus on all the incredible content these guys gave you this week. If you're not subscribed, pause this video right now. You can find their information in the description. Go ahead, head to their YouTube channel, subscribe, like their videos. You can't get enough of it. It was incredible this week. Just a reflection on the great content coming out of these folks. All right, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring the wonderful panel of content creators up on stage to join this ugly mug here. All right. So as we said, we've got Capricorn sitting up in my queue, and Capricorn, American Texan Plays, who I'm excited for his. We finally can have a poker reference. All in. That's one of his videos. I'm pushing my chips in. I should have had the chips as a prop for the show today and just shoved them in. And then of course Ben from Be a Hero Gaming, who literally makes, you know what, his video ripping those packs. I have a problem with breakers sometimes where they're like, oh my gosh, I just ripped a US nickel. This thing is 5 cents and it's made out of, I don't know what kind of metals you call it, but it's just, and it's just, you were so authentic when you ripped it. Anyway, a lot of great stuff. Hopefully Carolina can join us. I know her and Capricorn covered some of the same topics, so I was really excited to hear that. But since I mentioned American Texan talking about he's going to be all in, and that's one of the videos he dropped in the last week. In addition to, he's the what do you call it? The carpet cleaner, like in Pulp Fiction. Like he's the guy who comes in. He's like, I can fix this. Wonders of the First. First of all, did you know there was a problem with Wonders of the First? Number two is apparently American Texan is the one who can fix it. So Texan, which one do you want to get in first on your videos?
We can do the fix. We can put the fix in for Call of the Stones.
Wait. That is, by the way, I was a psych minor. This is a tell. This is your like, oh god, what did we get into that you're like, I don't want to go into like talking about.
No, this. It's like you presented it as a problem. I tried to present it as an opportunity. It's like, hey, this is what we need. This is what's missing. This is what I desire. I just, when I looked at the different products, I wish that we had a little bit more collector bundles. I wish that maybe there was a way to buy a dragon pack. It's really more of a novelty than like an actual collector thing. I don't know a collector that would want to buy one dragon pack. And then also the play boxes for LGSs, or if you wanted to go bigger on some play bundles instead of using up all that extra cardboard, if you had a bundle box, a booster box of play packs. Just looking at the different lanes we have, it seems like players, collectors, that middle ground had a lot of purchase options or product options, whereas the collector boxes really just had one option and the play boxes just had one option. So I was just kind of daydreaming a little bit of what I would like to see for Call of the Stones as far as products go.
And Ben, did you find, it's interesting what American Texan is talking about, because I kind of find that I almost want to ban the use of the word Discord, because Wonders has, as we've learned after one of our shows, and we know the team watches this, they let us know just how big they are, and it's much greater than, we were projecting it to be. So I don't want to go into Discord, but that's kind of like, I almost look at Discord as a focus group. Right. That's essentially, we're a large focus group, and most companies don't use it the right way. Like Wonders actually listens to their focus group. So it's a great way to get involved. But what American Texan's talking about, Ben, is that he's kind of reflecting the community, right? There's a sense of wanting a different line of products than just what was offered under existence. Would you agree?
Well, first of all, I laughed when he was harping on the 2-player starter set again. I know, I was like, here he goes again. But I like it when he said, you know what, we're just not going to talk about that. We're going to set that aside. I did laugh about that. But you know what, I agree. I was kind of surprised when they came out with the play bundle, but not a play box. And I don't necessarily know if they've said why they did that or not, but I was thinking there was going to be a booster box, just like the collector box was, and then also have a bundle too. So I was pretty shocked when I saw the bundle, but I thought, hey, let's just see how this plays out. Maybe it'll be a good thing. Maybe this is another way they're going against the grain that will end up paying off. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
the bundles are good for like sealed play. I think they're
Sure.
exactly
Yeah.
what they need to be inside the packs. The fact that they're
Yep.
so close to the collector pack, I mean, they're almost exactly the same except for the hit spot. Obviously, no formless foil, and you're chasing the alt arts. I think the packs are great. From a retail perspective, and I don't own a retail shop. It'd be a dream to own an LCS when my local LCS owner retires. But I think about that box at $30. I don't know what Southern Hobby or the other distros are selling it for, but even if at a 50% profit, you're talking about $15 on 100 square inches. It's kind of, that seems a little low for me. So if you could get more packs in a box and get more profit, or at least more margin out of that square inch, I mean, you could fit a lot more packs in that box. It's a pretty open box,
Well,
so to speak.
and that's another thing too.
I think that'd be a lot easier for LGSs to swallow.
Sure, and I've had a lot of people tell me, just at SCG Con, why is this box so big? They open it up and the box is huge. I mean, if you look at like a Pokemon booster bundle, it's just big enough. Well, they actually changed it; it's a little bit different, but it's pretty much just big enough to fit the packs in. And I was trying to explain to them, this is my own hypothesis. I don't know if this is true or not, but it matches the sports bundle. If you go to Target and you look at the shelf, the sports bundle boxes are the same size, and I wonder if that's where they got it from. I don't know.
Well, it's Capricorn. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I was going to say.
One of the things you got to take into account too is the way that they're getting this product to the players and the collectors. Right now, they're not as big in LGSs as they are in places like Target.
Right.
So if you're trying to sell to a casual player, which is what the play boosters are aimed at, trying to keep those price points as low as possible makes sense. If you're just buying from your LGS, they can rip open a 30-pack booster box and sell it pack by pack, but Target's not going to be able to do that.
Right.
So being smart about offering like the right size bundle, the right amount of packs where you can keep that price point as low as possible, but still have enough meat in there to service different types of limited formats, I think was the balance they were going for, which makes a lot of sense with the play boosters. I feel like with Call of the Stones, we're going to get a bigger push into LGSs, and maybe that will be a thing of the past. But for now, with the way Existence was marketed and pushed out and the play bundles coming later, it makes a lot of sense to me that they designed it with that type of a bundle in mind when mostly it's going to be sold in Target.
Now, Capricorn, you mentioned about being sold in Target versus LGS. There's two ways really to approach distribution, right? You can try to go through the LGS, and then you have to get to a group that already has their favorites and kind of has their system. And then they don't have the people demanding the product be put on the shelf. So to a certain extent, is like, that's one way to do it, right? Go into Target and Dick's, get everybody to know about it beyond in the SCG Con tournaments. And it's everybody hears about it. They can buy it at Target, and then they're going into their LGS saying, I need to have this. I need to have that.
Exactly.
So
you can't force LGSs to want the product or to take the product rather. So what you have to do is create so much hype through other channels that the LGSs come to you. And I think that was what they attempted to do in this first year with this first set launch. And now with the new marketing things coming into Call of the Stones with the celebrity guests and stuff, they're trying to hype up everything about this game so that the LGSs come to them. And I'm hoping with set 2, there's going to be a lot of demand coming from that front. And then we're going to see a lot more LGSs taking this game on.
Well, and American Texan, for those who want to know more about this, talk about the subject we're talking about, you definitely want to check out American Texan. American Texan plays on YouTube. And so he dives in deeper than what we're going here. But since we're talking about ripping packs, and by the way, a shout out to Jay, who's watching and said hello to us this evening. This is being filmed live on Sunday, November 4th, or Tuesday, November 4th. Sorry, getting used to the new day. Tuesday, November 4th. It's being filmed live. So we are going to be live every Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern. We welcome you to come in, ask your questions of these content creators, and share your opinions. But Ben, Texans talking about the type of, packs to rip. And so, of course, you were ripping pack. And so one of the things you did is you were like I was like, is it Halloween or Christmas? Because it sure feels like Christmas the way Ben is ripping his packs. That was an unbelievable rip that you had. And it was that product, which I want all the people at SCG Con Baltimore to feel horrible if those were boxes from there, because these people know they could have gotten it. So tell us about that video you did.
Well, so first of all, I do want to say I agree with Capricorn that it's good for marketing, and I also agree with Texans talking about how it's good for sealed play. It's not good for ripping. If you're ripping a whole bunch of bundles, your garbage can fills up really fast because you got to put all the stuff in those boxes in there. I find myself breaking them down and like stacking them all up. It does not work very well. But what happened was I was going to shoot that video and I started, I can't remember. I hadn't ripped anything yet. I didn't. Oh, hey, Grace is here. Hey, Grace. So I started the video and I played it back and listened to myself and I thought, you sound really boring. Why do you sound so boring? This is something exciting. You feel excited inside, so you got to let the people feel it. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just going to come what may. And I was confident enough that in one of those bundles there was going to be something good. And I was, I'm just going to pick one. And there's going to be something there. And it was. And there was.
It was more than, and that was a Baltimore. Used your tickets in Baltimore to get that?
Yes. So I won 2 of them, and then I used my tickets to buy the other 2. And actually, ironically, there's some of the comments on my channel all the time, and they're always negative comments. And he said that one of the things he said in his comment was, he said, "Oh yeah, right. You can't resist opening those. How come you only opened one of them instead of the other 3?" And I commented back, said, "Trust me, buddy. The other 3 are going down in the next 24 hours. And I'm going to post that video too. The other 3 getting ripped. Maybe, I don't know.
And just a tease, if anybody wants to go over to Be a Hero Gaming, is that the cards he rips are unbelievable for play, for collectability. So he definitely overperformed
And the crazy thing, as I will add really quick too, that I forgot to mention, was that the hits that people harp on play boosters. The hits that I got, you can get in a play booster. I didn't get any. I didn't get a big Formless foil. I didn't get an OCM. It was a couple of foil epics and a couple of paper mythics, which are awesome cards. Right. They're great cards, and you can get those in a play booster.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, you posted another video in the last week where you're talking about can't keep that reason number 7 why Wonders is the best game, and you talked about can't keep them sealed. So both videos, were you trying to be the same theme going, or that just happened to be what you produced? Because you mentioned in one of your videos you've been kind of dry for a little while, and you were about to get booted off Creators of the First.
No, seriously, it was bad. I kept looking, and it said, my last video was like 6 days old, and it was a week old, and it was 9 days old. I was like, I gotta make something, but I was working so much to get time off to go to SCG Con. By the time I got home at the end of the day, I just, trying to put people's bodies back together. It's just so exhausted. I was like, I don't have the bandwidth right now. I just need to like mellow.
Well, it's Capricorn. Will we ever see, like, I can't imagine, maybe I've missed it, but your style is not ripping packs. Like American Texan has mail day, and it's like Grace shares what she gets from people, and then Ben does. But have I missed it? Like all your
I do some openings.
He did some play boosters.
I usually do openings when it's my first time opening a particular product.
Okay.
So like I did one video for a quill box. I did one video for a collector box. I did one video for a dragon box. But I mean, my channel is primarily focused on gameplay. Like, forget all the collector noise, man. I want to play the game. And that's something I kind of want to hammer home too, is in the early days of this game, which we are still in the early days, I feel like there is a much higher proportion of collectors compared to players. So there's sort of this baseline expectation set in the community right now of what's exciting is what's exciting to collectors. Yeah. And that kind of like flows downstream into players. So sometimes I feel like players want to get excited about ripping these play boosters, and they genuinely should be excited about the crazy gold that is in these play boosters. But because there's such a higher proportion of collectors right now that are like, oh, it's only super exciting or cool if you're hitting serialized or you're hitting formless, it almost makes the players feel like they shouldn't be as excited to open those play boosters, when their gut instincts are like, this is amazing. Like, look at all of the gold I'm getting in this, because make no bones about it. Like, those play boosters are nuts. Like, I couldn't believe there was no rarity disparity in comparison from the play boosters to the collector boosters. I thought for sure there'd be half as many rares or whatever, less slots that could be rare or higher. And that's just not the case. The only thing that's missing from the play boosters is the serialized cards and the formless foils. So the collectors are shouting from the rooftops, "Oh, don't worry about that stuff. It's not cool enough." If you're a player that you just want to play this game and you want to get as many functional cards as possible so that you can compete and build all the decks you want, those play boosters are gold, and you should absolutely be excited about them. I don't know if we'll ever see a deal that good again eventually when this game blows up.
Grace, you had something to say?
I think it also has to do with the bias of what we've been seeing and where we're seeing the feedback. Like, of course, in the Discord where the collectors are, where it's been a very heavy collector area, we're going to see people who are more frustrated. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who are opening play boosters and that's the only thing they've gotten their hands on, and they're super excited. I think there's also the, like, if all you've seen from Wonders is collector boosters and that's what you're used to opening, when you switch to opening a play bundle, if you haven't like appropriately prepared yourself for the difference, I get why people are like, this is not the same. Because if you're used to only opening collector boosters, it feels very different. You are absolutely right, Cap, that it is a gold mine for players and play boosters. But because of a lot of the players only had access to collector boosters, that's now in their head the standard for what's going to be in a booster. I think is part of it.
All right. Well, I'm glad that both of you are talking about, you're excited about the gameplay, because actually the content that Capricorn and Wonders Workshop put out in the last week, you guys were very much on the detective trail, looking at both a blog post that was posted at the Wonders official site, and also looking at the video, which we actually, it dropped an hour before we went live last week. So we really didn't have time to look at it. What you guys did is you went through, you culled through the video, the blog post, and what you were doing is you were focusing on the new keywords, the mechanics. And those are the videos for folks who, you know, I'm glad, Capricorn, you talked about playability, because that is exactly, and even to the collectors who don't really understand the game, take the time to watch the video by Capricorn, Quarantine Capricorn, and also Wonders Workshop, because as a non-hardcore player, like, I found it enjoyable and interesting to learn about what is going to happen with Call of Stone. So Grace, what did you drop in this last week talking about Call of the Stones, the set that's coming?
So I covered the blog post. Obviously, I covered the video, deep diving a little bit into what we saw in that cinematic video that we watched at the beginning of this last week, talking a little bit about it, and a little bit of the community recognition. We did have it confirmed that it seems like that the very Viking Solfera fighter looking guy is Chuck Liddell, who I had to Google who that was.
Yeah, that was great. I learned that from your video. Thank you.
And then a blog post on the Wonders website, which, by the way, if y'all have not gone and read that, go and read that. It dropped absolutely silently on the Wonders website. No announcement in Discord, no nothing. Like, you had to be paying attention. I noticed it because somebody else mentioned it in Discord.
Yeah, shout out
Which
Filipino.
spoiled.
I almost wonder if they didn't intend us to find it yet. They were just getting it ready and they were going to make a big announcement with it, and then we just found it too quick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well done. Well done.
With the four of the new mechanics in Call of the Stones. Rage, Call, Guardian, and of course the Stone Seeker ability. And I am very excited about one of the specific pieces of information about the Stone Seekers. Cap, did you catch what the Stone Seeker tokens were numbered?
I haven't talked about it yet, but yes, 6, baby, 6.
6.
Let's go.
Nice.
Lydia is TFA-T6, token 6. So there's got to be 6 Tom Felton tokens.
That's what it looks like. And that's absolutely nuts. Because the thing is, you can build around that in 2 different ways. One of the ways you can look at it is, I have 6 different tokens to choose from. I know I'm going to be able to use 2 throughout the course of a game. How do I want to mix and match? Like, what 2 do I want to use in my token deck to access with my Stone Seeker? That's exciting enough as it is. That's like a whole extra layer of deck building. Now it's almost like you have 52 cards in your deck.
Tokens count towards your DBS.
But then it gets crazier. What if you decide to put like 3 or 4 different story tokens in your token deck so that you have options that you can pivot to as you're playing? Like, what if one of those tokens destroys an item? And now it's like, if you're having a problem with a specific item, you can kind of pivot. It almost feels like sideboarding. In the middle of a game, you can access something that lets you deal with a problem.
And American Texan, I'm not sure if you saw their content yet, but as someone who just competed in Houston, and then Ben, I'm going to ask you because you just competed in Baltimore. But when you're looking forward to Call of the Stones and playing once it gets released, how do you, and did you see the news of this information? And like in your defense, like some of this content, you guys were dropping minutes before we went live, so not everybody's up on everybody's content. But if you did, are you seeing that as like, oh, I know which way I'm going to go when Call of the Stones comes out? Or are you thinking, man, it just got that much harder for me, who I'm going to compete against, because of what I have to do against my opponents now?
No, I'm already, the player is already coming up with ideas, two things for me. Number one, I'm going to get all 6 tokens out, cause I'm going to bring out on play token 1 or on arrival, right? Tap free token 2, sack it, bring it back with Reforged Summoning Platform. All right, on arrival, token comes out, tap it, to untap it, whatever you got to do. And so I'll get all 6 tokens out. Not only that, I'm already thinking, well, tokens, if they go away, do they go back to the token deck? Can you reuse a token? So even though you only have 1 legendary token in your token deck, you bring it out to the board, it gets died, it gets dead. Does it go back to the token deck? Can I resummon that token? Or
Cap, do you know the answer to that? I don't think I remember whether.
Where does the
I know
token
this
go when
I'm
it
pretty
dies?
sure Rommel said that it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need a token in your deck for every single time you want to access that token, because I know that's come up with like Cosmic Cataclysm and Angel tokens and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need however many. Like he was talking about Dragon Cup, where you need to bring however many actual formless foil tokens that you need to use. And if you run out, you run out. So
I think it'll be interesting to see how that differs in friendly play versus not friendly play. Because right now, when I'm playing with people, it's like I keep 6 tokens in my deck, and I just, like, if I have 3 tokens of the same power that I'm using the same token for, I slap a 3 on top of it and say, cool, I got 3 of these tokens.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially as I'm building out my playset. I'll talk more about that next week, I think. I'm starting to actually build out a play. I'm actually going to try to build 2 playsets, and I'm sitting here looking at these tokens like, well, technically you need 50 like Aether Valkyrie tokens, right? Because I mean, you might want 50 of them in your deck. Not only that, think about playset Pink Spore. You need 50 pink spores for a playset. Fun thought.
Ben, sorry, go ahead, Capricorn.
No. And the thing is, it opens up so much more depth in ways that people aren't even really considering right now. Like Kraken of the Inferno. That is such a slept on. Well, nobody uses that.
Stop.
On arrival, destroy target.
Wait till after
like,
Vegas to talk about Kraken. Let's get
That's
that
about
in
to
our
get
pockets.
really good when all of the tokens are like the most powerful cards in the game. Oh, you just summoned a Quantris. Kraken of the Inferno. Goodbye, Quantris. Like
another one is Alicia Highwing. Alicia Highwing destroys all the tokens in a realm. And so that's another deadly one.
Yep.
But for me, the one thing I'm finding out competing is that people out there are a lot smarter than I am. And I'm watching them put combos together, and I'm thinking, how in the world did you figure that out? And where AT over there has already got ideas going through his head with his Reforged Summoning Platform and everything, I'm just like, man, you guys are just putting it together already. For me, one thing I'm excited about for Call of the Stones is to rip the packs and read each card. Because with Existence, we knew all the cards already. We saw all the cards, and of course, some of the abilities changed along the way. But with the Kickstarter, we saw virtually every card. And so when it came, that was cool too, because you're kind of like, oh, I wanted this card, or this one I had my eyes on. But Call of the Stones is going to be cool because 99% of it we hadn't even seen yet. And I hope they keep it that way so that when we rip the packs, every card is a surprise.
Wow. That would be amazing if they were able to do that. Great. Grace, go ahead.
Well, and I don't want to sleep on the other abilities, not just the Stoneseeker abilities, but I think it's Rage, Call, and Guardian. Rage is the only one that I'm not 100% certain that I'm remembering it correctly. Tall Wind is going to go so hard with some of those abilities because you could Portal Wonders to trigger Guardian from your own. For those of you who have not seen the blog post, Guardian activates a ability that's whatever it is on the card. For example, it might be +2. Guardian +2, whenever an enemy wonder enters the realm, be it by portal, by play, by whatever, it gets whatever that Guardian ability is. So if you've got a portal deck and you can put a bunch of Guardians in it, like in my head, Tall Wind's going to go so hard with that. The same with the way that calling works, because a lot of different stuff triggers on arrival. Like all the mechanics are going to make things way different.
The thing I don't like about this whole thing is I'm racking my brain so hard to try to get ready for Vegas. And I'm seeing all these other abilities and my mind's going all these different directions. I'm like, no, don't think about that yet. Don't think about that. That's later. Don't let that confuse you for what you're trying to do now.
It's true though.
It's almost like, Ben, if you could have 3 SCG cons to try different things out, right? That's the hard part. The next time you're going to compete is going to be Vegas, right?
Yeah. I don't want to think about Call the Stones yet. I don't want that to cloud my mind.
I hope we get Stone Seekers for some of the new abilities. Like I hope we get a Stone Seeker where it's like story tokens or do rage related stuff or something. I think that would be really cool personally, like the Rage Stone Seeker or the Guardian Stone Seeker.
You absolutely better believe that some of these story tokens are going to have these new mechanics on them. Absolutely. Yeah. And I got to shout out the team that's working their butts off on coming up with all of these cards and these mechanic ideas, because not only are they designing these mechanics to work in really interesting ways with the cards that we already have and completely change the entire power scale for what we think we know for the first set, but they're also designing them in a way where they work really interesting with each other. So like Call and Guardian are so cool together. Like if you have a Guardian out on your side and I want to play something there to take the stone, but I can't because I'll trigger your Guardian ability, I could use a Call guy in a different realm to pull your Guardian out so I could play the guy I want to play there. Like, there's just so much cool stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
And everything with an on-attack trigger just gets way better with the Call mechanic. Like, Luminous Scarab's already a huge force to be reckoned with in the meta. And if you can now just start calling that into whatever realms you want and attacking in fresh realms and taking stones while you're nulling lands, anything with on attack, you can do that. What's the one card that I was looking up earlier? Deep Pincher. Doesn't see a lot of play right now. On attack, create a 1-power insect token wonder in this realm, and it has Death Strike. If you can start pulling that around to different realms.
I bet you that's in Texan's deck.
It's in my deck.
It might be better than the Crow now. Like, we don't know. How many call cards are there? How easy is it to pull off consistently? Some crazy stuff.
Here's what I do know. All the collectors just went to sleep.
This is not a collector show. This is the Wonders of the
talking about on attack. How about on buy, on trade?
Actually, you want to know what? If you're a smart collector, you listen to what the players are talking about, and that's exactly what the collectors should. The smart collectors are listening to the players, and that's how you become the best collector.
So many random cards are going to be hyper collectible, because as the game grows, you're going to have players that like literally win a game. Like I got a turn 3 Luminous Scarab and it helped me win the tiebreaker that got me to the top 8 in 2025's SCG Con. And I'm going to memorialize that by chasing a Luminous Scarab Formless Foil or a Luminous Scarab OCM. And like, even though that was a card that no one cared about, it was a no-name card, it meant something special to this one person. And so that one person is going to be seeking that out. And the collector who, has it, invested, be willing to sell it. Like, it's one thing to flip cards or hold cards and sell them for more than you got. Like, that's great. We celebrate with you. But it's another to know that it's going to someone that it actually means something. Like, hey, my dog is named Bella and she passed away last year, and I'd like to chase the OCM of that. Or my son's favorite card is this one, and so I'm gonna get him the Formless Foil for Christmas, and he has no idea. When you sell to something like that, that's huge. And just as the game grows, as we fill the stadium with players, all that's going to be fantastic stuff for the collectors. And again, another reason why this game has such long legs is because players are going to be chasing these cards for a decade, if not more. And so all of these early collections, even the commons and uncommons, they're going to mean something to someone someday.
Grace?
Well, and so way back when they did the play test event at Firefly in like March of whatever year.
February 2024.
February 2024? In my head, it was in March. Who knows?
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
One of the videos, promotional videos they were filming was they were asking the question, what's more important, collectability or playability? And I don't remember the exact answer that I gave, but basically what I'm going to say right now is what I said then, is that collectability and playability are intertwined. If you want to be able to collect cards that you know are going to go up in value, and cards that you know are good, the playability is involved in that. And that's why it's important for like the top tier collectors to know what are the best cards, because I can tell you for a fact, Nexus, Market, these cards are more valuable because more people want to play them because they are good cards. And so understanding what the best playable cards are tells you what the most collectible cards are. It's a really complex relationship between collectability and playability, and there's a million different ways to try and figure it out.
By the way, Jay in the audience said, laugh out loud, I'm still awake, American Texan. So I will say, Grace, that he thanks you for bringing it back to collectors. So that way he was just about, no, I'm kidding. But I do want to say, it's funny, today when we were getting ready for Creators of the First, I was thinking of myself, I'm like, I haven't said this before on air. One of the things that I finally decided after a couple of years of supporting Wonders of the First and other projects is I love to devour information. And if you want to do that, as Grace and Capricorn were talking about, going and looking at the blog post, which not everybody knew about. And then, of course, Texan or Ben was saying, like, oh, in the Discord, it was Filizino who was sharing us that you had to go there. And it just, to have to go to the website, to have to go in this Discord when 87% of American females are not on Discord. There are all these places you always have to go. One of the reasons why I love this show, Creators of the First, and like I love devouring your content. I take it as much as I can, but that's one thing I want to stress to the audience who is watching this for the first time, is that give up your life of being tied to technology all the time where you feel like you have to, and subscribe to everybody on here. I don't get any kickback. They're not getting, money for this. I'm just telling you, for your own sanity, subscribe to each of the people on here. Put it on where you can't see it when you're driving and listen to them, but their content will keep you informed. You won't miss an opportunity, and you'll become a better player and collector. And I know I'm glad you were talking about this, because I did want to make that clear. Like, why do we do this show? We do this show because actually it's such a fun time to hang out with you guys, but also just to educate people so people can have a shortcut to understanding Wonders of the First and the community. All right. I know we have, speaking of grateful for their time, we know somebody's got dad duties with children, so we're not going to go much longer. But American Texan, I do want to come back. We opened the show, Grace, before you came in, talking about Texan in a recent video. Was that just a couple hours ago you released it, all in?
Yeah.
All right, so I haven't had a chance to see that, but can you give us a tease on that all in video that we can find at American Texan Plays? What's it about?
You know, when I started the Kickstarter, I did the Flare package, which was 3 collector booster boxes, and I split that with my cousin. At the time, even though I order from Kickstarter, I love supporting projects on Kickstarter, board games, and comics. My average cart value on Kickstarter is between $20 and maybe $60. Maybe once every couple months over $100. So the fact that I did a $750 purchase, which was the Flare package plus all the pre-cons around there, and I split that with my cousin, that was a huge investment. And I think it was like on a Tuesday night or Thursday night when the package came in, we were up till like 2 a.m. ripping the boxes.
Awesome.
We had a serialized alt art Plant Terror. That was huge. We had a serialized alt art Barney, which was my favorite card at the time. We had Formless Foil Mirage Terrain, and so it was such a fun time, such a fun rip. And now he doesn't play; he's in it for the collecting, and I ended up buying out his half, and it eventually became all mine. And so I kind of knew when Call of the Stones comes out, and this was months ago before anything was announced, but when the second set was coming out, I was going to try to get a case. I've learned much more about the trading card hobby and got, of course, growing into it, and probably just by single pack buying on whatnot, I've probably purchased another 2 collector box worths of packs. And so I want to be able to have that initial start for the next set. So I decided to go in on a case. Foolishly, I was thinking Kickstarter prices still, and I ended up thinking it was going to be about $1,000. Well, it ends up being $1,500. Still a good price for 6 collector booster boxes. And then we get the offer for the Dragon box at $500. So it's like, how can you say $475? I'm a simple man. I round up and down. But $500. So I'm like, how can you say no to that? A Dragon, I mean, those packs go for $250 single on Whatnot, and you're getting them for what, $125, whatever the math is. So all that said, it's like, well, I definitely want to get a case. I definitely want to get a Dragon box, and of course, you definitely got to pay the tax man or whatever that's going to come out to be. So I'm talking $22.50 on a good day for what I want to go in on the next Call of the Stones set. Now, for me, if I was to tell myself 2 years ago, hey, you're about to drop $22.50 on a trading card game, I would have been like, $22.50? That sounds pretty good for a trading. No. $22.50 with a comma. I would think I'm nuts, but that's how much I've grown to love the game, enjoy the game, the community, of course. You know, I used to work not a bad job, but Ben, you were saying in your video, you know, some days you go to your job and it's tough. It's a grind. It's work. It's something that you don't want to go to, but at the same time, it pays the bills. Well, I had a job like that, but what made it so bearable was the people I was around. I had great teammates. I had a great boss. I had a great boss's boss. They really made the drudgery of that work bearable. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, the game is great, but the community makes it even better. It's one thing to enjoy something by yourself. That's kind of what comics is. It's an introverted hobby. But trading cards, it's a social hobby. I mean, you trade, you collect, you share, you brag, you compete, you play. I love the whole aspect of it, and it really just brought me back to playing Magic in middle school and high school, but now with more fun money. And so to sit there and think of, I don't know how I'm going to get $22.50 because I don't have $22.50 in fun money, but I'm going to find it by November 9th or whatever the last day is. That became a game of itself. It would be easier if Vegas wasn't coming up, but unfortunately that's where we are. So all that said, like, I am all in. I mean, if they don't have a buy now, pay later on the site, essentially that's what I'm going to do with my finances. I'm going to buy now and somehow pay myself back later. But anyways, that, to me, that is all in. And that will probably be the only collector booster boxes I buy. Everything after that will be just Whatnot packs and play packs. But that's me going all in. That's a huge investment for me. I mean, I used to sweat $700 on a PlayStation. I'd buy the PlayStation and be like, well, now I can't afford any games. The PS5.
Am I the only one who's thinking Texan's problem can get? He mentioned Vegas. He mentioned needing the money. Texan, it's pretty clear how you can come up with that money. Like, but it's you're
all on black.
Saying, listening to you talk though, like, it's funny. Like, I just, oh, how naive you are. You're like, I'm just gonna buy a case, I'm gonna rip it, and then I won't need to buy anymore. You literally are going to be doing 6 lines of heroin a mile long, and like, that's probably I don't think you snort heroin, right?
One pack a day, man. One pack a day.
You're absolutely going to rip it and be like, I need more. Like this product here is like, I can't stop when I rip it. Like it is. That's one thing that Jeff French has done in Wonders of the First is that, you know, you find when you go and you buy other TCGs, at least for me, is like when I rip it, I don't get the same excitement. Like I find there's so much. I almost feel like they fill it with filler cards, and then there's certain cards you want to hit. The thing about Wonders of the First is he's a collector, not a player, but Frenchie wants you when you rip a pack to feel great about that pack. It doesn't have to be a high dollar value. He just wants an emotional reaction in you to feel good about it. Like that's what he's selling, the joy you get. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? He's saying, I will sell you this product. You're going to feel good about it. And then of course, you know, going beyond, that's the collector. And it's just like, whether you're the player, right? As we heard about that, Ben talking about that. Hey, I wasn't getting the OCM. I wasn't getting the formless foil, but as the player, you were excited because you were getting those cards. It's unbelievable. So I can understand why you're going all in. For everybody who watches, all of you guys, since American Texan, and then we're a couple minutes, 2 minutes from having to sign off, but American Texan. So you're going for a case. Grace, what are you going to go? And then I'll go to Ben and Richie, and then we'll do a final walkthrough. But what are you going to do for your purchase since you can't make it to Vegas?
I have no idea. I am having a very heavy debate on what I'm going to spend because I have 39 days until I graduate. I'm going to need a place to live. I'm got to find, like, there's all these things that I've got to keep track of.
Priorities.
And I know that if I go all in, that I'll be able to sell it and flip it for money. And I know that I'll be able to sell it. Like I have been told that I have the control of a saint, that I am very good about not opening packs. I have managed to make Magic booster boxes last me for over a month, just opening a pack when I need it. Like it drives people I know nuts. I still have unopened Wonders. So I know that I'll be able to flip it and sell it. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not I'm going to want to. And
Plus,
so
you gotta
trying
wait till
to figure
February. That's a long time to wait.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's been the hardest part too about pulling the trigger. Is like it is a pre-sale, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not like paying $35 for a comic to kickstart and you'll get it in 8 months. You know, we're talking big bucks over the holiday season into the new year, and you got to wait till February. Whew.
No,
No,
Dr. Birdman knows what I want for my college graduation present.
American Texan, one thing to know, I don't know if it's going to be true here, but Frenchie, he must detest taxes because that's not usually, it's covered in the cost. So
okay.
that might be shipping is the only thing you'll see sometimes. So you should avoid that. See, you just made $200 back. What about you, Ben, in terms of how heavy are you going to go? And like, this isn't financial advice, but are you going to go Grace's route and overbuy so you can sell to cover your investment?
So here's the thing. Let me just tell you that when I backed the original Kickstarter, in my mind, I wanted to be the Rudy of Wonders of the First. I wanted to have the heavy bags, the boxes, and fill my shelf. And then, but here's the problem. As I said in a couple of videos ago, I do not have the saint patience that Grace has. And the idea was that I would flip some of it. That was the idea. Like, and that was how I told my wife. I said, you know, dear, this is a tremendous opportunity. You know, I had this whole sales pitch. I was like, you know, we can make this investment, and then you know, you won't believe what we can flip these things for. I mean, it's just, we're gonna make a fortune. Well, I had to buy more and more boxes to put the cards in because the joy of ripping them just became so intoxicating that they just got decimated. And all these cards I was going to flip and make all this money ended up in boxes, and I didn't flip very many. So with that said, I've been running through my mind wondering, I know they said, you know, if you back the Kickstarter and how heavy you went, you know, we'll give you, you know, how many boxes. My mind started turning. I started thinking, how many boxes will they let me get? How high can I go? Started thinking here. And then it's the same thing about Texan. It's the same thing. The dragon boxes. I'm like, okay, so if one case gets me a dragon box, 10 cases and get me 10 dragon boxes. But
hey Ben, there is
I need intervention. So I need an intervention, please.
Because Capricorn is up in New England, is that Capricorn? You might remember Heady Topper when it was only available in Vermont. It was the #1 rated beer. It's an IPA. I mean, whatever. If you don't like IPAs, you're not gonna like it. It was the #1 ranked beer in the country. But I used to laugh because they didn't distribute outside of Vermont. People would follow the truck around when they give a 4-pack.
It's like cheer wine.
Yeah, it's not cheer wine. Yeah. Oh, you mean it's like how people worship it. But what's funny is when they started selling out of the brewery, they limited people to 3 cases. And I remember everybody coming up from Connecticut and Massachusetts and New York to Vermont in their SUVs. They're loading up with 3 cases. I'm like, why is this like suburban older couple buying 3 cases? And Ben, it's your point. They're like, you can't buy more than 3 cases. Imagine if Coors started saying you can't buy more than 3 cases of Coors per store. And then people are going to start being like, I got to buy 3 cases. But it's funny, right, Ben? Because you're told now that they might pull back. So it's a great, I mean, first of all, it's not, there's nothing dishonest about it. They're seriously saying like, we don't know what the demand is. If everybody's as excited as the 5 of us are, and we're willing to buy it, they can't meet that demand. And so,
well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's going to be like everybody talks about the store allocations. You know, they say, I want 1,000 boxes, but I know I'm only going to get 500. So I'm going to ask for 2,000 so that they give me 1,000, you know? And so I wonder, like, maybe I should just go real big and maybe they'll just give me half of that. They'll just say, all right.
Then you're on the hook if they actually give you all of it.
That is true. And that's where a lot of stores run into trouble when stuff gets overprinted.
Yeah, I remember. Is there a video, Ben? Ben, is there a video we could watch perhaps that somebody taped that talks about this phenomena?
There's several videos. And actually
you have done.
No, not that I have done. No, not that I have done.
Yes,
but you talked about it with Spider-Man.
You talked about it.
That's true. That's true. So yes, I did mention it. And just watching other people's content, yeah, game stores get into big trouble when stuff gets overprinted. And they order big, and then pretty soon nobody wants it. And it's overprinted and said, okay, we're gonna give you your 2,000 boxes you ordered, and then they can't sell it. And, when you're a game store like that, you can't keep stuff on the books. You got to move that product out the door. You can't have it sitting because you borrowed money to pay for that, and you got to get that money back so you can buy the next set that comes out. And I will say, speaking of which, one thing I didn't mention in my last video that I kind of wanted to bring up is I really hope, I don't know what the team's plan is, but I really hope they don't go too fast. When you look at Magic's release schedule for next year, it is bonkers how many sets they're going to come out with. And I'm not just talking about Universes Beyond. Don't get me started on that. But how many
8 sets?
It's insane how many sets they're going to come out with. And for me, Existence set's been out for 8 months, and I'm still enjoying it. And I would say, again, I don't know how many sets they're planning on. I would love to see 1 set a year, max 2 sets a year. Any more than that, I feel like we're going too fast. They're producing too much. Let's just take it slow. And same thing with abilities. I would like to see abilities come out slow too, instead of just every set, new abilities. Like, I kind of want to just see some different cards with the same abilities, kind of just put a little twist on it. I think that'll be healthy for the game. It'll be healthy for me and my bank account. So I don't have to get too crazy with every set, but I want to really dive into it, really enjoy it before something else comes out.
All right, Capricorn, what about you in terms of American Texan? We're talking about one of his latest videos. You can find it American Texas Plays, where he says all in. So what about you, Capricorn?
Well, since technically YouTube's a business for me, does that mean I get to write all of it off on taxes?
Totally.
So basically, I guess whatever money I have, that's how much I'm buying. Wait, do I have to pay now or later?
I don't think you understand how tax write-off.
I think that depends on whether or not you have a business credit card, Cap.
I did. Maybe I should get that again.
It's advertising. That's what it falls on.
My answer is as much as I possibly can. And I don't know what that number is yet. I
Sure.
should know because it's what, tomorrow?
Well, no, you have to Ben's point. You look at the last day of this, or no, American Texans point. You're looking at the last day of the sale, not the first, because of course everybody's trying to find the money to pay for it. So wait till the last day. And yes, American Texan, they do use, God bless you, they do use the shop pay in installments. If that will be an option on there.
Cool.
All right. Well, so guys, we're going to wrap it up here, but just real quick, we don't normally do this, but I just want to hear, Ben, when is the next, what are you dropping next for a video? What day and what calendar day? And if you don't know, that's okay. But what's the topic you're thinking of?
See, again, I'm not as structured as the other guys are. I got to take a lesson from all these other guys and gals about how they do their structure. But I have a note section on my phone where every time I come up with an idea, I just type a little blurb in there. And I have like probably 3 or 4 more reasons why Wonders of the First is the best collectible card game ever. I'm always 3 or 4 ahead. I'll do one, I'll think of another one. I'll do one, I'll think of another one. And so I have a bunch of those lined up.
Do you have that as a playlist? If anybody goes to Be a Hero Gaming,
it's a playlist. Yep,
it's a playlist.
Why Wonders of the First is the best collectible card game ever?
And you're through 7 or 8. How many do you have?
7. I've done 7.
Okay. All right,
and there's still a few more. But I still have what else was on? Oh, I want to do a video on this. This is probably all the video needs to be. Skyrake, the formless foil Skyrake. Why are there none of those? What happened to that card? Nobody can find the formless foil Skyrake Gearhawk. But I have a couple others in there. Every time I think of an idea, so sorry, it's probably not the answer you want to hear, but I'm just like so sporadic.
Yeah. Wow. Can't wait to hear that one. Capricorn, what about you? Is that, what's the next thing that's going to drop for you?
Man, there's a lot of stuff. I just dropped the
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, can we just say one thing? We didn't talk about it. You break down the SCG Con tournament play. So that's the other thing is we're not going to get into it now because this will go longer. We already went past the mark.
I love that.
But it's like, if you guys want to see, and especially if you're a collector who got a little bit turned off when we got too much into the play, as American Texan talks today, it actually is much more exciting when you know people are playing for real money and you have Capricorn who's narrating it and making it very simple. It's a great, easy way to start learning about the play. You can pick up on the generalities instead of these guys going 5, they're doing 4D chess. And it's not 4D chess. It's still complicated, but it's fun to watch. So sorry, Cap. That's a
great video.
The smart collectors know that the gameplay stuff is the most important part of evaluating the worth of their collection long term. Like the reason the Power 9 and Magic are the most expensive cards in Magic is because of how powerful they are, not because of how rare they are. There's cards just as rare from the same set that aren't worth even a fraction of what those cards are worth. So be excited about the gameplay. Even if you don't really know what's going on, learn a little bit. Because if you can catch wind of what cards people are excited about, you can sort of get a head start on knowing what's going to be worth even more money down the pipeline. But I have a ton of content coming. Like I just dropped the finals from Baltimore for the 10K sealed event. That's live. I believe that's the video you were just talking about. I'm working on the finals match from Constructed in Baltimore, which Hanging Bananas, one of my teammates over at Team First Form, took 2nd place. Didn't manage to squeak out the win, but he should have. You'll see why once you see the
good teaser
video. Not necessarily because he made a mistake, but because of luck. He had that game in the bag, and then he had some bad luck. And then, of course, this pre-buy, if I was a betting man, I'm going to guess that as soon as they launch the pre-buy, there's probably going to be more spoilers that go along with that. I have a hard time thinking they're not going to just drive it home with a couple more cards to really whet people's appetites. Maybe even another Stone Seeker if they really want to go big. So I'll be just waiting to jump on that and make that video even before I do any pre-buying myself. So there's going to be a lot coming this week. I'm excited.
Awesome. All right. Make sure you head over there. And by the way, I've never asked, why is it quarantined? Quarantine Capricorn instead of
because I started my channel in 2020.
Okay. And it was already taken. Right.
So we were under
quarantine. Yes. COVID. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. I've already forgotten about that. I thought you meant because it was already taken. It was only 5 years ago. Yes. Forgetting about COVID. Grace, is that for you on content, are you going to be doing a video just on Rommel? For people who don't know, 9th level is Rommel, but one of the artists, one of the one of the key members of the Wonders team is Rommel. He made the comment just now, caught spoiler, there is a card that will make every one of you do a video on it. Will you do a video on just his comment, Grace, before you know anything?
Probably not, but you know what? If I don't have something to drop tomorrow and I make a video about that comment, then you know that I had nothing to talk about. No, I will have a video up tomorrow. I'm going to see if there's anything interesting going on in the Discord to make a video about. If not, I will drop one of the stored videos that I have. I'm trying to be very focused on talking about what the community is talking about. And so
Great.
if there's fun stuff that people are talking about on the Discord, that's what I talk about. If not, I talk about gameplay or I talk about collectability, an evergreen topic.
That's great. All right. Well, we can't wait to see what you drop tomorrow, Grace. All right. American Texan.
I don't know what I'm talking about yet. I barely got this vlog out today. I'll be trying that for the next couple months. Just doing a little bit more lifestyle stuff. What is it like to live the life of wonders, a wonderful life? But Thursday, I might do a video on the pre-sale spoilers. I didn't do a video on the last spoilers. I had a lot going on. I didn't want to do that. And then there's a couple of thoughts that I had, about, doing a video on how Whatnot works for a general audience, or doing a video going through my top 4 Houston deck, or a video on where to even buy Wonders in 2025 for the holiday season. I got a few ideas out there. I haven't really shot anything. So we'll see. We'll see what is coming up. But it's going to be about Wonders. It's going to be hopefully informative, entertaining, learn a little, love a little, like a little, subscribe a little. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, I hope that everybody comes back here, because on Sunday night, when the pre-buy for the Wonders of the First is winding down, I think we're going to do a Jerry Lewis style telethon, and everybody on this panel is going to be back here, just getting that total up. And
I love that idea. In fact, what we need to do is we need to do a cardboard-a-thon. If everyone buys a case and we mail Grace the box your case came in, she can create her own house. That way she doesn't have to worry about bills, and she can buy herself more Wonders of the First.
My cardboard house will be nice and solid and small.
I want to make a prediction right now before we end about the card that Ramel's talking about.
Ooh.
He says we're all going to make a video about it. I think it's going to be the Blue Phoenix Quill. Don't know what it's called, but it's going to be the equal and opposite to the normal Phoenix Quill. It's going to make your opponent lose 3 energy and not be able to play core cards for the round.
Oh, that'd be cool. Ooh,
that's my prediction.
Yes.
That would be something we'd all have to make a video about, right?
That'd be cool.
Collectors and players, you heard it. You heard it.
And 0 cost, so that Valen Voss can find it.
Boom.
With the Quantris.
And maybe in its name is Phoenix Quill, so that it also counts towards if you control a Phoenix Quill.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this.
It's coming.
All right, everybody. This has been Creators of the First. I want to thank the panel here, Quarantine Capricorn. You can find him on YouTube. Be a Hero Gaming, Ben, and you also have American Texan with American Texan Plays, and Grace, Carolina Girl from Wonders Workshop. Take care, everybody. See you on the next Creators of the First.